And you heard me say this a million times, man. When you say no more, when you really gonna push to give birth to your dreams, when you give birth to the greatest version of you, to give birth to that you God called you to be, when you really, really are ready for that, you don't sit on this live and say, easier said than done, or typing damn excuses in the live that now is contagious to everybody else to find the excuse. If you want to create excuses, type excuses, this ain't the live for you. This is the live that we get tired of selling for less, and we go. We try our best. We give our all. It might not look like perfection, but we give our all to be a better version of ourselves. That's the people that I want on this live. I don't want people who just want to put in excuses and talk about, I can use all the excuses in the world. Y'all know what I've been through. But I know excuses is not going to change a thing in my life. A thing in my life. That's why I push myself out here to be mentally tougher. When I want to break down, I tell myself one more. When I want to give up on life, I tell myself one more day. When I feel like anxiety's taking over my life, I tell myself one more prayer. I tell myself one more. Because each and every one of us, we have one more inside of us. And once you give that one more, you tell yourself another one. Then you tell yourself another one. It ain't about running 1,000 miles in one day. It's about taking a step. And that's the part of the journey that a lot of us overlook every single day. So if you're ready, man, to meet the greatest you, I want you to type in the comments. I want you to like this message. A lot of y'all ain't feeling this message. I can see right there. That's why I write that down and say, I'm at 49 of you feeling this message. Okay, all 3,500 of you, y'all must be, man, this ain't the message for me, right? Some of y'all might be like, this ain't the message for me, Trent. This ain't the message for me. It's a little too tough for me, Trent. But guess what, man? Tough love. Because I can't allow you not to be a better version of yourself on my watch. I can't. Because I don't want to allow it for myself. I want to allow it for my family. I want to allow it for anybody. I want to allow it for people on my team. That stuff is contagious, man, when you settle for less. And when you settle for less in one area of your life, guess what? You give permission to other areas of your life to settle for less. Settling for less is contagious, just like greatness is contagious. So I want you to make up your mind this weekend that you're going to demand greatness from yourself. And greatness don't look like what everybody else look like. You don't got to be out here running in the heat. Right? Greatness might be, shoot, you know what? I'm going to meditate every single day. You know what? I'm going to eat healthy this whole week. You know what? I'm going to read a book. You know what? I'm going to walk around the block. You know what? I'm going to get 8 hours of sleep. Whatever greatness looks like to you, man. This is your journey. But it's time for you. It is time for you to stop settling for less, man. And this is a message that most people don't want to hear, what you need to hear. And again, like always, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm saying these things because I care for you as well as I care for myself. If you think I go through this life not wanting to give up, not wanting to quit, not having hard times, man, you out your mind. I battle silent battles and all that stuff, man, a lot. That's why I need God to wrap his arms around me with his mercy. That's why I need God to wrap his arms around me with his love, with his peace, with his joy. That's why I need to see God daily and fall on my face and praise him and give thanks. Give thanks. That's why I ask God to renew my mind, man. The renewing of the mind is so powerful. The renewing of the mind, when you think different, you start to do different. When you do different, you start to get different results. So ask God to renew your mind, change your way of thinking, refresh your perspective. Refresh your perspective, because some of our perspective is only seeing the bad, only seeing the lack, only seeing the loss. Refresh your perspective. I love that word, man. Y'all type that, refresh your perspective. Oh, man. Refresh your perspective. Ask God to refresh it so you can start seeing the beauty even in the storm, so you can start seeing the progression even in the setback, so you can start seeing even the lesson even in the failure. Even in the failure. You can start seeing that. I just hope that y'all really feel how much I care, man. You know, I know I get passionate at times. I know I turn up at times. You know, especially when I'm just getting finished working out. My blood flow and my oxygen levels are at an all-time high. My heart is beating. My heart rate is up there. And I'm just hyped. I'm hyped for life. I'm hyped for you. And I just love when I get messages that say, Trent, man, you know, is that message that you told nobody to listen to? I listened to and it changed my perspective, refreshed my perspective. And look, I'm a better father. I'm a better mother. You know, I accomplished my goals. I started my business. I did all these other things. I got closer to God. Like, that's all that I hope. I get on here and I plant seeds. I don't want nothing else from you. I just want these seeds eventually to take harvest in your life. And I get it. Every seed that I plant might not be for you, right? Might not be for your garden. I understand that. But if it is for your garden, don't ignore it and don't push it to the back burner. And a good thing to say every single morning is say, no more, no más. I think that's right. No more, no more. I'm not sure on my Spanish, but if no más is right, just let me know so I can give myself a A+ for today. But no more. When you say no more, man, it forces you to find a different way. When you say no more, it forces you to find a different way, right? It's kind of like the best analogy that I'm gonna get off of here because I'm about to pass out here in this humid in Florida. But as you see, I'm under the shade. The best analogy I can give with that is like, you ever drove somewhere in a car, right? Maybe you're going to a place that you always go to, right? Maybe it's your job, and you take that road, and that road is cut off, right? They changed it. They shut it down. Not even a detour. They did construction, and they shut it down. And so my question to you when that happens is, what are you going to do? Are you just going to turn around and go back home? You're going to keep trying to force your way through a way that doesn't exist anymore? No, common sense says you're going to find a different way because you have to. And it's the same with your life, man. When you really shut it down, when you really destroy the path that you know you don't need to go on, or the communication you know you don't need to have anymore, or the option that don't need to be an option in your life anymore, when you truly shut it down, it forces your life to go in a different direction. So many times in my life, man, that was my trigger words, no more. And it forced me to find a different outlet, right? When I would turn to certain things, man, to ease the pain. Y'all know what I'm talking about. When I would turn to certain things to ease the pain. When I would run to some of my addictions. When I said no more, it made me find better habits for my life. Because I want to tell everybody on here, man, that's dealing with addiction or anything like that, you are not wrong for having the feeling, right? We can't control our feelings all the time. Eventually, maybe we can reprogram ourselves. But a lot of us, we think we're wrong for having the feelings, right? You want to have the feeling of man, I want to release. Man, I want to get this out of my life. I want relief. There's nothing wrong with having the feeling of anxiety or the feeling of, at times maybe depression or sadness. Sometimes it just happens in our life. No matter how well we're put together, I have my waves that I go through just like you. I have my silent battles that I face. You're not wrong for having the feeling. You're a human being. But what happens is what we do in the middle, right? We have the feeling, we want the relief. What happens is what we do in the middle. And we go in this habit loop. And some of us have been in the same habit loop, right? We have the feeling, we want the relief, and we do a poor action or a poor behavior that doesn't help our life. And we go on this emotional habit loop. And some of us have been on this merry-go-round for far too long, right? Same feeling, same habit, same result. And it didn't lead our life to a better place. My prayer for you is that stronghold is broken, that those chains are broken, and that you destroy that merry-go-round. You shut it down. You put that mug out of service. That merry-go-round is no longer operating. We can't keep going in the same circles, man. That's doing nothing for our life. And I want you to construct a better merry-go-round. I guess because I'm about Universal Studios or something, I feel like talking about roller coasters and rides. I'm a big kid at heart when it comes to that. But what you need is a better habit, right? So you have the feeling, disrupt it by putting in a better habit. So just say it's drinking, right? So say you feel sad, so you go drink, right? I'm not shaming anybody. I have my fair share of drinks, but that's something I try not to do, and I actually don't do anymore. But I'm not judging anybody because we all have been there, right? I'm not saying it's bad, it's good, whatever. It ain't my job to judge you and tell you what's good or bad for your life. I can just go off of experience in my life and what it does for me. But say you pick up a drink, right, to get that relief. Does that really help your life? Probably not, if we're being real, right? Does it destroy your life? Just depends. But instead of that drink, what if you went for a walk? What if you went for a run? What if you went for a workout? What if you went to meditate? What if you picked up the phone and had a conversation with somebody you know that brings peace to your heart? What if you went and watched one of my videos and you got that same relief? Ask yourself, which one is actually helping your life? And life is really that simple. And I know it's not simple to do, you know, when we have emotional strongholds to certain things, but life is really that simple. Life is about the choices that we make. As they say, I don't know what great philosopher said this, but our life is nothing but the sum of the choices that we make. So if you want a better life, make better choices. So y'all, as I'm walking back to the hotel, getting ready to speak, hopefully this Saturday, it poured into you. Thank you for the stars, guys. Like I said, this month, our goal is to get 1 million stars. So thank you today. I'm not going to push stars hard today. Thank you for anybody who shared the video, who's commenting on here today. It's not about stars. It's about anything that you've ever given to support. If you told somebody on the streets, hey, listen to Trent, I appreciate that, man. So I know it was a lot, but the main takeaways from today, all right, is give birth, is no mas, no more, and it's create better habits for your life. On top of everything else I talked about. Let me talk to y'all, man. Yes, better habits. Give your life to Jesus is the best choice. I agree, Sabrina. Definitely. I definitely agree. Speaking for myself. But I respect everybody's beliefs. You know, some people ain't there yet. Some people ain't in that place. And I respect it. You know what I'm saying? I've been through my journeys too. But as far as for me, absolutely. God is my source. Period. So I'll always say that. Debbie said, this is real talk needed. This generation of curses ends with us. Absolutely, man. I think, you know what? I think the problem is we don't give ourselves enough credit. Like, we think that greatness is just for other people. Like, some of y'all watching this, oh, that's just for Trent. Man, I'm a regular human being, right? Like, I got to use the bathroom right now. If I was full of greatness, I wouldn't have to use the bathroom. But some people you watch and you think, oh, man, that's just for certain people. I used to be like that, too, until I realized that I had the power to do something about it. And every single one of us on here, you have the power to do something about it. Whether it's how big or how small, you have the power to do something about it. And a lot of times we deflect the responsibility on everybody else. We deflect the responsibility on everybody else. On everybody else, we deflect it. You know, we want the change. We want change, but we want everybody else to make the change. It starts with you, man. It all starts with you. If you want to make a change in this world, start with yourself. Start with your household. Start with your community. And take that responsibility because you have the power to do it. You have the power to do it. But like I said, we live in a society where everybody wants to blame. Everybody wants to wait. Everybody wants to deflect responsibility on everybody else. Wendy said, I'm in Gainesville, Florida. I'm out of Florida tonight, I think. Now I got to go to Austin, guys. So I'm back on the road speaking, traveling. Love it doing this, man. I love to do this. Like, I know I say this a lot, but I just hope that y'all feel through the screen how much I care. Like, this isn't a job for me. Like, this is my mission. I'm grateful for it. I thank God every day for the mission. And I thank God, man, just to give me the clarity and the strength to keep pouring into y'all. Because like I said, I don't think about what I'm going to talk about before I press live. I might have one thought that says, hey, man, just talk about accepting no more. And I just press play. And you guys' energy through the screen fuels my soul. Got to change my negative. I've been stuck in the same thoughts. Yeah, Marie. So every time you have a thought, Marie, oh, man, it feels good under here, this breeze. Whew. Thank you, Lord, for the breeze. Every time you have a negative thought, ask yourself, what's the root of that thought, right? Maybe it's tied to something, right? And that's a whole different process. I call it my rehab process. That's called repair. And you dive in deep and get down to the root issue. But every time you have a negative thought, just replace it with a positive behavior, okay? Every time you have a negative thought, replace it with a positive behavior if you can. So it could be, say I have a negative thought that I'm not enough, replace it with a positive behavior that shows you are enough, right? Maybe it's going to, if you have kids, going around your kids. Maybe it's getting on social media and writing a nice comment or a nice post to encourage people. Maybe it's reminding yourself in God's word of the truth about your life. Like whatever it may be, that's one of the things, man, because what happens is we never challenge our negative thoughts. We sit with it and we allow those negative thoughts to become who we are, become part of our identity, and we walk in that. And so I'm always trying to challenge myself. Like even today, I had a negative thought, it's too hot. when I went to the hills, I'm like, man, I'm not in the shape enough that I should be to run these hills. I'm not going to be able to run these hills. And I said, you know what? Forget that. I'm about to go run these hills. And I crushed it, by the way. I'm about to go run these hills, and I'm going to prove myself wrong. Sometimes in life, you got to prove yourself wrong, right? Sometimes you're proving yourself right in a positive way. Sometimes we prove ourselves right in a negative way. But I just challenge you, every time you have a negative thought about yourself, go prove yourself wrong. And don't sit with it. Don't let it become your identity and your behavior. Yes, negative thoughts can be replaced with positive behavior. Yep, that's a great takeaway from today, man. Go prove yourself wrong. So right now, if you're feeling like, oh, I'm not enough, go prove yourself wrong. Go do a positive thing right now to show you that you're enough. And you realize that the greatest limitation is here. The greatest limitation is ourselves, man. We put ourselves in so many prisons. And we live so many lies, and we believe the stories that we tell ourselves, these make-believe stories that we tell ourselves. And we literally live the book of our life without actually living the book of our life, if that makes sense. So what I mean by that is, like, we tell ourselves what the story is going to be, right? And sometimes that's a good thing, but we tell ourselves how our life is going to end, or I'm never going to be happy, I'm never going to be loved, all this stuff. And you ain't even experienced your whole life. How you know? Right? That's why I say control what you can control right now. I believe in thinking about the future, but I'm more obsessed with what I can do right now to create a better future with my life. And so some of us, we like writing our whole story when we just on chapter 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, focus on this chapter. How can you change this chapter? I don't care how bad your past chapters were that you think they might have been. I don't care how great, whatever. The chapter that you're on today is a chapter that you can do something about. We can't write the rest of our story, but we damn sure can write today's page. And today's a new beginning. So today, so far, I've written a great page. It's going to be a great chapter today. And you know what? Maybe the villain, maybe some hiccup, maybe some enemy comes in my life today and I got to deal with it. But you know what? I'm already determined how I'm going to respond to that. I'm not going to allow anybody to mess up today's chapter. Less stress, more peace, baby. Vitamin D. They said I was deficient in vitamin D. So I get my vitamin D. That's why I'm walking with my shirt off. All right. Not just because it's hot, but I need my vitamin D. Vitamin D is good, man. Good for you. COVID kept me inside too much. I get my vitamin D. My vitamin sunshine. She said, every time I come out of the rut, something happens. Today, I truly understand why celebrities, let alone regular people, commit suicide. Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, because that's a great point. You know, if I was the enemy, and I'm just thinking from the enemy's perspective, right? When you're in war, and you got to believe we're in a spiritual warfare. If you don't know that, you don't believe that, you know, that's your beliefs. But I believe we're in a spiritual warfare. And if you're at war, and if I'm an enemy of somebody, one of my tactics is going to be when they do something positive, make sure a negative follows behind it heavily. So they get discouraged. So what the enemy does, I believe, is that when you make a positive decision for your life, when you do something positive, when you do make change, I believe the enemy sends all its troops, right? All its weapons against you to make you feel like you made the wrong decision, to make you feel like you're depressed right after you are so happy for your life and yourself. And so when you understand the enemy's tactics, because the devil ain't creative, use the same stuff, man, over and over and over again. When you understand the enemy's tactics and you don't judge your life by what's happening right now, but you judge your life based upon knowing that this is a seed today and the seed will take harvest at some point. And you got to realize when you plant seeds in your garden, there's going to be weeds, right? There's going to be bugs and going to be snakes, going to be things that try to overtake your garden. But as you continue to water your garden and continue to take care of your garden, eventually those things will be overtaken by the beauty of your garden, by the beauty of your labor. So I just want to tell you that to anybody out here that's made change, and after your change, you've been followed by a lot of BS in your life, that just to let you know, that probably means you're on the right track. Because I know the hardest part of the mountain is the start, and it's when you almost get to the top.